G'day everyone, this is DJ Cotts here, and today we're going to answer that question that I know has kept you up at night. What happens if a Midi Fighter Classic and a Midi Fighter 3D had a love child? I don't know. What would happen? You would get the Midi Fighter Spectra from DJ Tech Tools. This is the brand new controller in the Midi Fighter line, and as you guys know, I'm a massive fan of these controllers. They're durable and you can pretty much map them to DJ and music production software and really abuse that software to do all kinds of things. This new Midi Fighter Spectra is kind of a hybrid between the Midi Fighter 3D and the Midi Fighter Classic. It takes away some features from the 3D, adds some features on top of the Classic, and they're all hand built. Absolutely love them. So let's get to it, unboxing, and put the controller through its paces. So here we have it, the Midi Fighter Spectra from DJ Tech Tools. The first thing you notice when you open the box is this certificate of authenticity. It comes with all the Midi Fighter line, and the reason they include it is because these controllers are actually hand built in San Francisco. It's a really nice touch and something that companies don't do very often anymore. We've got the unit number of the controller, the date that it was built, who it was handcrafted by, and also a photo after the controller was actually assembled. So it's really cool. And also on the back, this warranty statement really amused me. It says, "The warranty shall not apply as a result of inappropriate or abusive use, such as water damage, dropping, beating, slamming, crowd surfing, groupies, or shark attacks." So I would suggest that you don't go swimming with your Midi Fighter Spectra, but I know for some of us, common sense doesn't always prevail. Yeah. So here it is, and this is the controller that I have decided upon. Basically, when you order these controllers from DJ Tech Tools, you can choose the color of the buttons, you can choose the color of the faceplate, and you can choose the color of the surrounding here. And some people have come up with some pretty crazy and out there designs. I decided to go for something a little bit more classic, just the black and white. Kind of looks pretty professional, I think, and really happy with it. What you get in this controller is you get the colored surrounding LED lights here that were in the Midi Fighter 3D that weren't on the Midi Fighter Classic. Basically what this controller does is it's a step up from what the Midi Fighter Classic was, and it's kind of coming in to replace that older controller. Now, what it includes as well is these shift buttons that are on the side of the controller. There's 3 on each side, and you get the USB port, and the underneath is really cool as well. You can see inside the controller kind of what's going on, and up there, handcrafted in San Francisco with your unit number as well. And of course, the best thing about this, which is the basically indestructible Sanwa arcade game buttons. They survive so much abuse. My Midi Fighter Classic has lasted for years, and I'm sure it will last for a number of years to come. This does feel like it's got a bit better build quality than the Midi Fighter Classic. It's definitely really solid, and it'll last a lifetime, basically. Also, in the bottom of this box, the last thing is the USB cable. So, without further ado, let's see what this guy does, and we'll get to it. So for those of you that don't know, the Midi Fighter is, as the name suggests, a MIDI controller, and the easiest way to explain to you how it works is to imagine something like this guy. Basically, when you're using it with your Xbox, you press a button and something happens in a game, and the Midi Fighter Spectra is essentially the same concept. However, this controller is geared towards DJing and music production, and you use what's called a mapping, so that when you press one of these buttons on the controller, the computer does something. This could be to play a sound or trigger an effect. So when you plug this guy into your computer, basically the first thing you'll notice, as you just saw, is it explodes out into lots of different crazy colors, which in addition to looking totally awesome, allow for some advanced features to be used on this controller, which I'll demonstrate in a second. And when you press a button, these colors just go absolutely crazy, and they give you some great feedback as the user, and they interact with you, and you can really tell what's going on the controller. So to demonstrate this, I'm just quickly going to load up Tractor. Let's go here, load up Tractor, and while we wait for it to load up, you'll see when Tractor's loaded, this controller will actually change in terms of its lights. And there we go. So basically, it's giving you some feedback. Something's different about it. You've got these blinking red lights and these blue lights that are pulsing up the top here. And now it can really be used for some advanced stuff. Now, this mapping that I've got loaded is a DJ Tech Tools mapping. It's from a forum member called Bo Bright, and it allows some really crazy control and granular control of Traktor's effects. And the way this mapping works is by using lots of, let's call them menus, that different effects are contained within. The lights in this controller show you these menus and allow you to keep a track of what's actually going on. So these red buttons, if I press one, it will then load up, show these, which is a menu, and then I can press this button here, which will get me into this sub-menu, which allows me access to more effects. And if I press this shift register button here on the side, it'll kind of reset all the settings back to the default state, just in case we get too wound up in effects and we don't know what's going on. That's our button to get out of it. Also, one thing that I didn't mention earlier, that in addition to these colors, there's also 4 LED lights located on the bottom of this unit, and it has the ability to output much better MIDI than the Midi Fighter Classic did, and it includes advanced HID mode as well, which is basically kind of a new fancy version of MIDI. So these LED lights in this particular mapping on the rear of the unit, and you can see it shown on my hand there, basically shows me what deck in Traktor that the effects are applied to. This is deck A, B, C, and D. And that's pretty cool because it frees up space for us to do awesome things here. So you can just basically explore menus and get access to lots of different features or lots of different sounds. It's pretty crazy. I haven't figured it out myself yet, as you can see, but we'll go through it in a second. So just like Bo Bright's mapping, which is currently being used on this controller, DJ Tech Tools has a really big community of mappings that you can download for free and use. There's mapping for a large range of software such as Traktor, Serato, Virtual DJ, and Ableton, just to name a few. So you don't really need to get into complexities of actually programming all this stuff. You can just jump on the website, download these files, and it changes what this controller actually does and what you can use it for. So let's jump into mappings basically and have a quick look with Traktor, and then I'll show you what we can use this controller for with Ableton. So here we have the instant gratification mapping now loaded up in Traktor. If you've seen me play before, you will need no introduction to what this mapping does. Because there's a new mapping loaded, we've got more crazy colors, and I'm just going to show you, play some tunes, and you can do all sorts of crazy effects, stutters, echoes. And what I really like about the Midi Fighters is no other controllers really let you layer effects on top of each other as easily. And you can do combos. So that's so much fun, and you can see the addition of this light that actually does crazy colors depending on the sound that's actually going through it at the moment. So let's get on to Ableton, and I'll show you what this can do as more of a finger drumming type device. So here we have the Midi Fighter Spectra connected to Ableton, and I'm basically going to use it for something called finger drumming. Now, finger drumming is where you use a controller and you map a sound sample to each button on the controller. And there's this guy at DJ Tech Tools called Mad Zach who releases a sound pack every single week that you can download, and which has all these sounds in it. And when I press each one of these buttons, as you will hear, it plays a sample. And what you can do is use these controllers to make that into a tune, mashups, and it's a huge amount of fun. I've only been doing it for about a week and I'm fairly rubbish. I figured out how to make a drum beat, so you can do things like this. So yeah, woo! So I haven't figured out how my coordination, how to get both my hands going at the same time, like. But I'm not going to do this any more injustice and destroy your ears, and I'm going to show some footage of Mad Zach doing it. So you can do some pretty awesome things with these controllers, and I'm really keen to get better at this, so hopefully in the next couple of weeks I'll post another video when I can play something decent on this. Big shouts to Mad Zach for making those sound packs. They're absolutely awesome. So yeah, that pretty much shows what you can use, or some of the applications of the Midi Fighter Spectra, and let's move on to the utility that comes with it. So something that's been around for a couple of years now is this Midi Fighter utility. It allows you to customize the controller, change preferences on it, and download and apply new firmware updates from DJ Tech Tools. Basically, what you can do is change the colors of these buttons. So let's say that I wanted the outside of these buttons, the top row at least, to be all red. I want the next row to be all orange. And these outside rings are when the button isn't pressed on the controller. So we'll make those purple, and we'll go green for those bottom ones. Then I click send to Midi Fighter, and the Midi Fighter updates and then displays a new color. This circle bit is when I actually press a button. So if I press a button here, as you can see, the outside changes to blue, and that's because they're all set to blue. We'll update those. We'll change those ones to yellow, those ones to pink, those ones to orange, and then we'll send that. And then when we press those buttons, as you can see, the outside of them is actually the new color. So you can change it to kind of suit how you look, how you want it to look, not how you look. That would be weird. And also you can change the patterns, so that animations that happen on the controller. So if you don't like how the lights go crazy out like that, you can turn it off. You go send to Midi Fighter, and then it doesn't do that pattern anymore and just does the colors. So this is a really neat utility. It's a big step from the days where you had to manually put the Midi Fighter Classic into different modes by holding down different buttons and all that type of stuff. It really simplifies it in a user-friendly manner and allows anyone to use it with kind of little confusion. So overall, the Midi Fighter Spectra adds a lot of awesome features on top of the original Midi Fighter Classic. It's built really well, looks awesome, and I've been using them for years and absolutely love them. So if you're into DJ software, definitely check one of these out. You won't regret it, and I'm going to be using this guy for many, many years to come. They're $175 on the DJ Tech Tools website. You can jump on, have a play around, and basically choose how you want the controller to look. And yeah, I'm really happy with it. Big shouts to DJ Tech Tools for making yet another kick-ass product. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. And if you get into it, definitely post your finger drumming videos on YouTube and check them out. It's so much fun, and I will hopefully post one up in the next couple of weeks, as I said. So yeah, as always, support the artist, support the hardcore scene. And on another related note, check out the Midi Fighter Spectra from DJ Tech Tools. Cheers.